At family brunch, my nephew pointed at my purse and said, "Dad says it's fake." Then he sliced the strap with a butter knife. The table burst out laughing. That night, I ended the $1,100 transfer that paid for his private school forever. I can't stand my nephew. There, I said it. Eli's 9 years old, and I honestly can't think of a single time he's been enjoyable to be around. I've smiled through his tantrums. I've sat through his screaming in restaurants while his parents scroll through Instagram like nothing's happening. I've watched him insult waiters, throw food at other kids, and once I caught him spitting on a neighbor's dog and calling it ugly. And yet somehow everyone treats him like he's the second coming of Einstein. He's spirited, intellectually advanced, just too smart for other kids. What he is completely unchecked. No rules, no consequences, and for a long time, no boundaries with me either. I still paid for half of his private school tuition. I didn't offer, Ryan asked. Said it was just until he got a raise. That was almost 2 years ago. Every month, $1,100 left my account and went straight into his son's overpriced, under-disciplined education. I never got a thank you, not even a text on my birthday. Ryan and his wife Megan act like I owe them because I'm single, because I have a good job, because I don't have real responsibilities like they do. And somewhere along the way, they started treating my money like it belonged to them. I used to think I was doing the right thing, helping family, giving my nephew a shot at a better life. Now, I think I was just enabling them. Then came the brunch, the one that flipped the switch. It was my dad's idea. He wanted all of us together at this new brunch place downtown. The kind where the wait list is 3 weeks out and the food is stacked vertically on the plate. My parents, Ryan, Megan, Eli, and me. I wore a dress I bought for a work gala and carried a handbag I had saved up for. It was a big purchase, but I didn't regret it. I never splurged on myself. This one time, I did. The moment I sat down, Eli's eyes went straight to my bag. He said it loud enough that a couple at the next table turned their heads. "Dad says, you buy fake bags to feel rich." I didn't even have time to respond before he reached across the table, grabbed a butter knife, and started sewing at the strap. I thought he was pretending at first. Then the strap gave way cleanly like he'd practiced. He held it up proud of himself while the table exploded with laughter. Ryan leaned back like this was the height of comedy. Megan giggled like she was in on the joke. My mom looked a little stunned, but still laughed. My dad tried to hide it, but he was smiling, too. "Relax," Ryan said. "It's not like it's real." That was the moment something clicked. Not just with Eli, but with all of them. This wasn't just about a purse. It was about respect. About how they really saw me. Not as family, but as a resource, a wallet with a face. A childless woman who owed them because she didn't have a family of her own. I finished my drink, got up, and left before they came. That night, I logged into my online banking and ended the transfer. No warning, no text, just canceled it. The next payment was due in 2 days. Let them deal with it. But I already knew Ryan wouldn't take it quietly. And when the fallout started, I wasn't going to hold back anymore. Not this time. 3 mornings passed before Ryan noticed. That's when the first text came through. I was sipping coffee at my desk, catching up on emails, when my phone buzzed. "Hey, I think you forgot the transfer. Just checked and nothing came in. Can you send it today?" The school already sent a notice. I didn't answer. I didn't even open it right away. I knew this would happen. I had been funding their lives so smoothly. They hadn't once checked in on the money. Just assumed it would show up like magic. I left the message unread and got back to my spreadsheets. That night, he followed up. "Fiona, come on. They charge $40 a day in late fees. I'm not trying to nag, but this isn't just about us. Eli's going to feel it. Can you just handle it and we'll talk?" I handled it all right. I poured a drink, turned my phone off, and went to bed early. By day 5, he was calling. 2 missed calls from Ryan, 1 from Megan, and then the cherry on top. A voicemail from my mother. "Honey, I don't want to get in the middle, but can you call your brother? He said something happened at brunch. Can we talk?" I called her that evening, expecting her to tell me I was overreacting. Instead, I told her exactly what happened. Eli's comment, the knife, the laughter, Ryan's smug face. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't embellish. I just told the truth. There was a long pause. Then she said, "I didn't realize it was that bad. I'll talk to your brother." That was the first time I felt like someone had actually heard me. And it wasn't over. Saturday came and went. Total silence in the family group chat. "No, look at Eli's science project. No, Megan's in Arizona with the girls. Just dead quiet until Sunday morning when my dad texted me. Can you come over around 2 o'clock? We need to talk. I showed up on time. Ryan was already there, pacing the living room like he'd been waiting to explode. Megan was nowhere to be seen, probably still sipping cocktails in a rooftop pool somewhere, parenting from a distance. My mom sat on the couch, her expression tight. My dad stood by the window, arms crossed. Ryan didn't even say hello. You really pulled tuition over a handbag? I ignored that. I asked if he even realized how humiliating that brunch was. How his son destroyed something I paid for with zero consequences. While the entire table acted like it was some kind of comedy sketch, he didn't flinch. He said I was being dramatic. Then came the part that made me see red. You have no idea what it's like raising a kid. You've got disposable income and no family. You should want to help. I laughed once. It just slipped out. He wasn't even pretending to hide it anymore. The entitlement wasn't subtle. He was spelling it out. My dad stepped in before I could answer. Sit down, Ryan. Ryan froze. My dad wasn't the type to bark orders. He didn't need to raise his voice. When he spoke like that, you listened. You think we're going to let this keep happening? You're not parenting Eli. You're spoiling him, defending him, letting him humiliate your sister and everyone else. You think because she doesn't have kids, her money's yours. He didn't let Ryan get a word in. If you can't start acting like a father, I will. That boy has disrespected your sister, your mother, even me. He's 9 and already walking around like the world owes him everything. The room went silent. My mom looked stunned. Ryan looked like he'd been slapped. I stayed quiet. There was nothing left to add. They were finally seeing what I'd known for years. Ryan didn't argue. He just sat down, eyes lowered, like he was realizing the weight of everything he'd ignored. And still, Megan wasn't there. She rarely was. When she came back into town, it was like nothing had happened, tan, glowing, dragging a matching luggage set like she'd just come from a photo shoot. Her Instagram was a highlight reel of champagne glasses, rooftop dinners, and friends who all looked allergic to responsibility. Eli had been acting out all week. My mom said he'd been pulled from class twice, once for shoving a classmate, and once for calling a staff member a servant. When the principal called Ryan, he brushed it off as transition stress. The kind of excuse parents use when they don't want to admit their kids turning into a red flag. Megan hadn't called. Not my mom, not Ryan, not anyone up EY Saturday. Ryan invited everyone over. He called it a reset. His exact words were, I think we all need a clean slate. That's when I knew he was falling apart. Ryan only talked like that when he was trying to stop something from collapsing. Megan arrived late, of course. She floated into the living room like it was her stage, hugging everyone, smiling big. I missed you guys. She crossed her legs, looking around like she was waiting for applause. Ryan was sitting on the arm of a chair, eyes dull, like he hadn't slept in days. My dad didn't even greet her. Then she said it. I just think it's really toxic to hold money over a child's head. It's punishing Eli for something he doesn't understand. No apology. No accountability. Not even a question about what happened. Just more image control. Before I could respond, my mom did. Are you actually listening to yourself, Megan? That alone was shocking. My mom avoids conflict like it's radioactive. But something had snapped. Maybe it was seeing Eli spiral, or watching Ryan crumble. Maybe guilt. Whatever it was, she didn't stop. Sienna paid for that school. She's helped raise your child. And you watched your son destroy her bag in public and said nothing. Then you flew across the country like you were still 25 and single. Who do you think you are? Megan tried to laugh it off, but no one joined her. Not this time. My dad stood up again. That's his thing now, standing when he's had enough. He looked straight at her. Megan, if you don't want to be a mother, that's your choice. But if you don't start parenting that boy, you're going to find yourself a long way from this family. Eli stays here every weekend until further notice. And will be involved in how he's raised, since clearly, someone has to be. Megan's jaw tightened, but she didn't argue. Maybe because she knew she couldn't win. Or maybe because for once, someone finally told her she wasn't untouchable. Later that afternoon, after everyone left, Ryan called me alone. No group chat, no Megan hovering, just him. He asked if I could cover one more tuition payment. $600. Said the school was giving them a temporary reduction while they reassessed Eli's place there. He said that word, reassessed, like it meant something worse that I didn't answer right away. He kept talking. Said he knew he'd messed up. Said Megan was trying. Said he was trying. His voice sounded drained. Not angry, not defensive, just tired that I told him I'd do it once and never again. He didn't thank me the way he used to, all smug and performative. This time, he just went quiet. And somehow, that silence felt real. For the first time in years, I believed him when he said he'd fix it. The next week was quiet. Too quiet. No texts from Ryan. No calls from Megan. No updates from my parents. I figured they were regrouping, still in cleanup mode, that I thought the worst was over. Until Thursday morning, when my mom called and said one word, suspended. She didn't explain right away. Just waited. Eli had thrown his lunch tray at another student, hard enough to leave a bruise. Not a playground scuffle, but a scene. 3 adults saw it. The other kid had joked that Eli's shoelaces were untied. Eli mocked his clothes, said his mom probably shops at Walmart. When the boy told him to shut up, Eli dumped the entire tray, milk, spaghetti, everything, over his head. Then, in front of teachers, he said, "My mom says kids like that grow up to clean our houses." The school sent Eli home right away. Ryan showed up within the hour, alone. Megan didn't answer. She'd flown to Chicago the night before to visit her sister. No one knew when she'd be back. For once, Ryan didn't argue with the school. He just sat there, nodding as they warned him that one more incident would mean expulsion, not suspension. Later, my phone rang. It wasn't Ryan. It was Eli, calling from his dad's phone. He said quietly, "Can I stay at your house?" I asked why. He said Ryan had taken everything away, the tablet, TV, even the backyard. Then he said, "I didn't mean to mess up your bag. I thought it was a joke." Everyone was laughing. It was the first time he'd ever sounded like he actually understood what he'd done. That evening, Ryan called. He sounded calm, tired. Said he'd taken time off work and finally realized he didn't even like the kid he was raising. He found one of Megan's trip notebooks, full of brunch spots and spa bookings, but no mention of Eli. "I can't go back to how things were," he said. I believed him. When Megan came home Sunday, she acted like nothing had happened. Rolled her suitcase in, complained no one was helping, and looked around for attention. Ryan told her they were having dinner at my parents' place. A conversation. That night, everyone was seated when she arrived late, dressed up, like she wasn't planning to stay. Ryan spoke first. "I'm done pretending. I've been a bad father, and we've both treated Sienna like a bank. That ends today." He told everyone what Eli had done and what the school said. Megan snapped, asking why she was just hearing about it. Ryan said, "Because you were in Chicago taking selfies while your son was being disciplined." The room went silent. Then Eli said, "I don't think Mom likes me that much." Megan froze. He kept going. "You're always leaving. You didn't even call when I got sent home." My dad stood up. "Megan, this isn't working. You don't get to float in and out. That boy deserves people who see him." Then to Ryan, "You finally opened your eyes. Don't close them again." Megan didn't fight. She just started clearing dishes. Awkward, but she stayed. For the first time, she stayed. The next morning, she picked Eli up from school. Later that week, Ryan texted, "No one's perfect, but we're trying." For the first time in years, I felt peace, but I knew it wasn't over. When Ryan later asked for one last payment, $600, I thought about everything. The lies, the laughter, the years of being used. Then I thought about Eli, the kid who was finally trying. So I sent it. No message, no lecture. He replied, "We'll never ask again. Thank you for everything." I didn't feel triumphant, just calm, like something had finally ended. At a family barbecue, Eli ran up to me and said, "Remember the purse I cut? Someday I'll buy you a new one, a real one." I smiled. "I believe you." 2 months passed quietly. No more requests, no guilt. Then a padded envelope arrived, a cheap red keychain with shaky handwriting. "Even if it's fake, it's still yours. I'm sorry." I clipped it to my keys. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. After that, things steadied. Megan stopped asking for money. Ryan took responsibility. Eli grew kinder. And me, I kept my boundaries, showed up when I wanted, and left when I didn't. No big apology, just quiet peace and one red keychain that still makes me smile.